All right, ladies and gentlemen.
I
let
was
me
about
just
to start singing the song. Never mind.
let me just say, I tried to make pantsless podcasting a thing, and Tanya D shot me down. She won't let me live my best life. So you know it is what it
That's
is.
an absolute no. You just don't need to be dick to chair. You don't need to do that in order to express yourself. So,
I
no.
mean, okay. I'm just trying to get in touch with my podcasting space. I feel like that was the best way to do
I feel like there are other ways.
it. If you say so, I'll trust you. But outside of the craziness, it's your boy CEO Hayes, and I'm here with the thirst trapper extraordinaire herself, Miss Tanya D.
Wow. Way to remove yourself from responsibility. Good job.
Thank you.
Like you don't be smizing all on the ground. I don't even want to. I'm not gonna get into it this episode.
I,
Not gonna.
I feel like you're building the case against me. I feel like one of these
Let
episodes,
me
you're just
tell
gonna be
you,
like, we finally need to sit down and we need to talk about this,
I'm
Hayes. I
very
feel like that's
calculated.
okay.
I'm very calculated. I don't need to see. That's the problem. You don't just run to the man with that one problem. No, you keep a checklist of all the problems so you have a sound case when you make it.
Well, damn. Okay, fair
Hmm.
enough.
Hmm. How have you been?
I've been good. I've been good. Busy. I've made the decision that I'm going to be taking a leave of absence from like everything, all the other little shit that I do the week of Christmas. I'm just going to just go MIA and completely detach. I just need that week to myself.
For whom?
Hmm?
Yourself?
For me, just for me.
So that means you're not contacting people?
Wait, no, I mean you don't count. I'll contact you, but I mean like outside
Right.
of
Okay, then no, it's fine. Then ignore
yeah.
everybody else.
Yeah, it's very select people that still have contact and access. I'm just gonna get in touch with me, myself, my family, and edibles. That's all I'm doing.
Wow. Edibles. I haven't had one in a while, but I am due. I am due for an edible.
Yeah, I feel like edibles only activate the moment you say all those edibles weren't that bad. That's when it kicks in. Like every single time, you're like, oh, it was all right.
You have to talk shit about it first, and it activates the it has to. The moment you start talking shit, it activates the true essence of the edible, and suddenly, like I remember one time I took one, and my friend miscalculated, and so he made because he made like the butter, and
Hmm.
he made brownies, but he made enough to go in two batches, go in one batch. So what we were eating was like a triple dose.
Wow.
And I'm thinking it's nothing. I ate it. Whatever Super Bowl that was, all I remember was Bruno Mars's Bouffant. I remember people were asking me if I was okay. And then I was home. Like I felt like time was like standing still with this edible. So I'm only saying that to say I would like another.
Well, we'll have to make that happen. So I'll be visiting at some point, and I'm just gonna bring a bag with me. But nonetheless, so let me stop before I incriminate myself. They check my baggage. Um,
These are snacks, officer.
but we do have topics this week, and so something that kind of came late last minute was this J Cole interview, and it was a great interview overall. But something specifically that he said, since we do talk about relationships and try to help people with their fuck shit, he mentioned how you don't ever want he like even your significant other, you don't want to feel like you need them, because then when something breaks down between you two, there's like holes of you that are missing. And I just felt like that was a really interesting like viewpoint on it, one that I agree with, and he just worded it so eloquently. What did you think about it?
I mean, if you're only whole when I'm added to you, then that means you're literally half of that without me. So it's just important to be like a whole person and have your own happiness that is outside of maybe someone coming along to add to that happiness.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't have it authentically or organically, you're going to keep seeking for it in other people. But the problem with that is when they give it to you, yeah, you feel good. But when they take it away, you're still empty. And you have to feel yourself enough to not need
Mm-hmm.
someone else to compensate for the happiness that you're lacking. So I think Will Smith and Jada Pinkett Smith touched on that before, as far as needing your partner or relying on your partner for your happiness, because honestly, it's not their responsibility.
Yeah.
Like, they can cultivate your happiness, they can create moments of happy times, or do anything that can make you happy outside of you, externally. But if you're not happy inside, then there is nothing that can fill that void but you.
Yeah, and I think that is the importance of like being happy with yourself and in a certain place before you expect a relationship to solve that for you. And so many people get into these situations and they feel like that's going to make them a better person. And it may make you a better person. It may make you happier, but like you said, it should add to some happiness that's already there. You can't be reliant on another person for your happiness. Like when you really step back and think about it, who are you to put your happiness
Mhm.
and lay it at the feet of any other human? To make them wholly responsible for if you're happy or not. No, that's a serious problem.
You need to have happiness independent of, and that's why, like, I always emphasize the idea of joy instead of happiness, because happiness is very circumstantial.
Mm,
You're happy when things happen in your favor. um you find some extra money, you're happy you found some extra money. When things are in your favor, you're happy. When they're not in your favor, you're not. And I feel like joy is more causeless. You don't really need a reason to have joy.
yeah,
um you can see people who are poor, we see it all the time, people who don't have, but they have a smile on their face. And that's something invaluable, that a lot of people can't get. And so they're saying, outside of my circumstances could be whatever, but I'm still going to have joy. But as far as happiness, that means that I would have to have something in my favor in order for me to be happy. You get a new job, you're happy. You get that car you want, you're happy. That same car break down, you're not happy. Your happiness goes away when
yeah,
situations aren't in your favor. But joy is like, no matter whether this car is working or not, I still feel good. I woke
yeah,
up, I'm here, I'm existing, I'm going through the situation. So sometimes we just have to, like, just not be so reliant on other people to make us feel important or better or beautiful or secure or whatever, you know what I mean?
there you go. Great words from the great Tanya D, the thirst trapper extraordinaire herself.
Stop it.
So the next topic is one that actually, so I reposted this post about how toxic women also damage men. And when I tell you,
Hmm.
motherfuckers went off on me. Like
Excuse
when,
me.
like
Wait.
I mean with all
Yeah.
power in their hands of
Okay.
God. Yes. And it was like,
Why?
and I'm looking at this and I'm like, what, why do you, I feel like they got triggered by it because they were probably those toxic motherfuckers who damaged a few men. Because for you to come in my DM and say, oh, you're just reaffirming weak men that want to blame women for all their problems, I'm sitting there looking at like, where did you get this from this post? I was
Uh,
confused by this. So because I can talk to you, I need you to explain your gender at this point. Like this is all on
uh,
you.
I don't want the responsibility. Um, I feel like, okay, well, one, the internet is gonna internet. So
Okay.
the moment you put an opinion on there that people don't agree with, their fingers get, just working. But I mean, I do feel like there is validity to women because it's a cycle. The the good woman is a great woman to this horrible man, and then they break up, and then her heart hardens, and then she treats other niggas like shit, and then the good guy that met her
Mhm.
is damaged from that pain,
Yeah.
and he treats a woman badly, a good woman badly, and that good woman heart gets broken, and she treats a good man badly. It's a cycle. It's ongoing. So to me, it's not one particular gender's fault. This is just kind of how it happens. Hurt people hurt people.
Yeah.
That's all it is. So there is validity to it. And for men to say, or kind of like, hey, yeah, we also are damaged by toxic women. Um, women are so hell bent on being the victim sometimes, and I hate to say that, but hell bent on being the victim sometimes because we always, I don't know, like categorize all men shit together. You
Yeah.
know, if she meets two bad men or two trash men or he's broke or whatever his flaws are, then she starts saying niggas ain't shit. Is it
Mhm.
niggas or those two? It's like when you meet people and they go, "Oh, I tried every diet in the world." Like, did you try every diet or did you try three and it didn't work? You know, over exaggerating. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Um, so they'll go, "Oh, men, all men cheat, all men this, all men." And they're the ones that's doing things to women. Women are always the victims, but a lot of time there are situations where there are good guys that meet women that just so happen to be in the shitty portion of their lives. And everybody, that happens to everybody.
Yeah.
So I don't see how this was any one gender's, you know, I don't see how it's one thing in particular, but women are just triggered by anything because they be hurt.
Yeah. Do you think more people need to seriously seek out to speak to a professional when they go through a bad breakup? I think we often, as we're embracing the idea of mental health more, I think we more look at it for the more serious things, and sometimes we don't
Mhm.
stop and say, maybe I do need to do just a couple of sessions so I can get over this bad breakup.
Absolutely. Anything that you would need to do to get past that point in your life that's healthy, I'll say that. Because meth and cocaine just might not get you there. Um, but I feel like, yeah, definitely talk because your friends, you need to speak to someone who doesn't know you, somebody unbiased, who they don't know you from 10 years ago, they don't know you from school, don't know you from work, they don't know you as a friend, and they can give you a very outside view of you. People who know you closely, they want to very, coddle you and it's going to be okay. And sometimes you don't need to hear that it's going to be okay. You need a strategic plan how to not be depressed. You
Yeah.
need help. And you don't need people kind of patting you on the back and like your friends will do. And they're well intentioned, but you really do sometimes need to speak to someone that's unbiased so that you can get like a really good grasp of the situation. So,
Makes sense. Do you think more men need to openly talk about being damaged emotionally?
um, Um, I guess if it makes y'all feel better. But it sounds very complaining.
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to, I mean, I guess, and you could start a whole nigga coalition or something, but I just don't feel like if it's not gonna progress the conversation forward, because a lot of people I heard something very great the other day. It said that um people aren't interested, they're trying to be interesting.
Mm.
It's not that they're interested in anything, they're trying to be the one that's interesting. So you have people that even if they're sharing their emotions, men sharing their emotions online and or in a post or comment, whatever, and they're sharing that openly, or even in personal conversations, you have to be prepared to know that there's going to be some confrontation from just making the statement. So you can't be, oh, well, you have to be able to at least listen a little bit. Because sometimes when people do that, and I'm going to be open with my emotions, it's like you don't consider that when you open that up for discussion, people have opinions.
Yeah.
People have opinions. And as long as you're ready to deal with that, then knock your black ass selves out. I don't know.
A nigga coalition. That would be interesting. But we're gonna go ahead and move on to that. The next one, again, this is another one of those things. Please don't ever check my search history because I the shit that's in there I can't explain. But I did come across a good topic for
Let
us
me
to talk
tell you,
about.
nothing better not happen to you. I don't know. Because someone's going in that search. All right.
I'm gonna call you and be like, "Hey, you got any bail money? I need you to kind of come get me out."
Control Alt Delete. I don't even know who you're calling. I don't exist.
But in my searching for topics, I came across an interesting statistics. So there's been a trend in teen deaths due to autoerotic asphyxiation, and so there are between 200 and 250 and 1,200 deaths per year in the U.S. alone, and some victims are as young as 9. Just before we get into the next part of that, what like to hear a 9-year old die from autoerotic asphyxiation is just. I told my story last week on my dad and being 12 in the car. Like I was 12 then, so I wasn't even thinking about getting head, much less choking myself while orgasming. So like, what do you make of this?
Um, it's really hard to speak to this because I'm just gonna be frank. If I could be frank, I don't know if Black people are doing this. um,
That's fair enough.
so we had enough ass whippings just in our history, and enough, pain to not kind of do those things. And I'm not trying to make light. It's just I had never heard of this. Like, I mean, I've seen like, different movies or shows that have maybe something like that in it. But as far as it affecting like kids, I literally this is the very first I'm hearing of it. But the more I was reading, I was like, how you hear the news and you by the crime, you know who did it?
Yeah.
Same thing. Same thing. But I just wonder, well, it's not really a wonder. It's kind of like I understand what that's attributed to, because if you're just scrolling Twitter, you're going to see some things.
That is true.
You're going to see some things. And so Twitter doesn't necessarily have an age cap. You have kids as young as that age scrolling the same timeline that we're scrolling, and all the porn and all the. I've seen people in a complete leather costume with just their mouths and nose
That is
out.
wild.
Like it's out there now,
Yeah.
and it's easy for kids to get, and it's just. I mean, I guess that's very unfortunate, and I couldn't imagine being a parent of something like that happening to my kid, because what? There's a lot of explaining after the funeral and stuff. It's like, what was happening? What did they have? What did they get exposed to, or did they see? Or wow, I am at a loss.
And so the way that my mind where my mind immediately went, again, I didn't grow up in the States, so I have a completely different like outlook on sex and being able to talk about it and go openly. So my mind went to, do you think that the lack of openly talking about sex here in this country contributes to teens, like you said, going out and seeing things on the internet and trying it because they don't feel comfortable to ask questions about it? Like
No,
me growing up, I could ask my mom if I saw some stuff like that. Twitter didn't exist, but if I saw it, I can go and tell my mom, "Yo, what the hell is this?" And she would talk to me about it.
I mean, well, I feel like, I mean, there's some validity to that too, because again, like you're saying, like it's there and the access is there. And if, as far as the relationship between adults and children, when you're talking about sex, is very just preventative. Don't get pregnant, don't get diseases. We talk all the bad things about sex, and we're definitely not talk. We don't talk about the pleasures of it or anything like that with your parents. I am at my big age of 33, and I still don't want to talk about sex with my mother. So that never goes away because it's just awkward. It's
Yeah.
awkward. And, you know, I don't care how open certain kids are. It's just certain things you're not going to feel comfortable with talking to your parents about, for the most part. Some people are different, but yeah, of course you're going to sneak and find it, just like, everything else kids get into. You just figure it out.
Yeah. But nine, that's just wild. That's
But did
scary.
you know about sex at 9?
I knew. I don't know how much I knew. I can't go back to that time. I knew about it, but I didn't nothing in detail.
Like, cause I knew about sex at like 5.
Yeah, I mean,
So, and that
I
was
got the
way
general
before the
idea.
internet. That's
Yeah.
VHS times. And I knew what it was. It's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
I get it. Adults do that sometimes. But it wasn't enough for me to be like super, super experimentative or something like that. Like, no, this is new.
Yeah, it's. I mean, hey, the internet age makes everything, all information at your fingertips, and now we got kids as young as 5 and 6 with cell phones. So, shit.
My nephew is like 7 and he has a iPhone X.
See,
It's disgusting. And I'm tired of him sending me voice memos.
that's funny. Has he done the animojis yet?
My nephew?
Yeah.
Don't talk about it. I don't even want to put it in the atmosphere that maybe he might pick it up or something because I'm sick of it. There's nothing worse than talking to like a 6, 7 year old on the phone or FaceTime.
Yeah.
Because their attention is like all over the place and they put the phone or iPad down and they run off and I'm like, this is not how conversations work.
Fair enough. Fair enough. So we got one more topic before we get into questions. This one, I think, I thumbs up in my opinion. So a new law was passed that allows for lovers to ask police for background checks on their partners, specifically to check for domestic violence. At least in what I saw, I think it's just limited to domestic abuse cases. Not they can't just get a full background check on you. And so it's part of the domestic abuse bill. Previously, police could give you a background check, but it was at the discretion. So this one allows more of a uniform
Yeah,
access to it. What do you think?
this is beautiful.
Yeah.
This is all right. One time for America, kinda. But I feel like this is a positive step forward because um story time. So I met this guy long time ago. But while we met out in the street or something, and like every time we were with each other, he would just say strange things like, "I just don't think I'm the type of guy you would date." And I was like, why do you keep saying that? And he wouldn't really explain until like one moment he was like, "Well, I've been in prison for like 7 years, and I could give you my login so you could look at my record." And I was like, "What?"
Wow.
Right. He was just super transparent with me, and it scared me the hell away. But oh, he's actually in prison right now for life for kidnapping. Who knew?
Wow.
You can
Wow.
look it up. His name is Johnny Hugabook. Look yourself. Anyway, but I think that's amazing because I feel like a lot of times men are very manipulating and good at playing the good guy until it's too late and
Yeah.
you're in a situation or he loses his temper or whatever the case is. It's like just for women just to have the option to just check themselves. Granted, a lot of women might not because a lot of women don't care about that. They feel like your past is your past or whatever the situation is. um, but a real bitch like myself, I would love to look. I would love to, but I'm glad that they also restricted it to just that portion because I do feel like people's past are their past. So just because I'm dating you, I'm glad that they shouldn't have to be privy to maybe something that happened when you were 15, 16, 17 years old, something like
Yeah.
that. So I think this is a positive, amazing step forward. Yep.
And I think when we live in an era when we hear about so many women who are in this relationship with men and everything's fine for like 2 years, 3 years, and then also like you said, something snaps, and then the woman ends up getting seriously hurt or dying, and then it's like, oh yeah, and he had history of domestic abuse. He abused his last two girlfriends, and then it's like people can keep it together for a while. Really, they can, especially if they're trying to portray a certain thing. And I have daughters, so like just anything that gives you more of a to make sure you're in a safe space because you
Yeah.
just never know nowadays. And yeah, so that I think is positive all the way around. Matter of fact, if any man has an issue with this, that should be a red flag right there. Don't even worry about the background check. Just be like,
If he
oh,
was
okay,
like,
we good.
"Bitch, you
Yeah.
looking at my record?" Like, all right. Yes, I am.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah, it's
I
just
am.
yeah,
Yes, sometimes men are too volatile or just too, you know, because there are red flags and there are signs there.
mhm,
And you know, I definitely dealt with someone who, was just couldn't keep their temper. You know what I mean? And I knew that over time that it would just volcano. You know what I'm saying? It would just erupt at some point. And I just didn't want to be that person that was staying in spite of those things.
Yeah.
Like once he kind of roughed me up, like he didn't hit me, but he like roughed me up because he thought I was talking to another man on the phone.
Oh wow.
Thoughts. And he roughed me up and he was kind of like holding me down and stuff like that. And I was like, yep, this is my limit right here. The roughing up is my limit. You don't have to beat my ass. I went to the police station immediately. I'm like, I do not care about that. When you put my life in danger, I don't care about you anymore.
Yeah.
And women, I mean, I don't want to speak for all women, but I'm so glad that something like that does exist. So you have the opportunity, because you don't want to have a situation where somebody's coming to you woman to woman to tell you that he beat her ass. So great things.
Yeah. And it's interesting this came up because I'm working on doing an interview on the Awaken Soul, my solo podcast, and it's actually a woman who she went from being a church girl, she met like the man of her dreams and ended up being in sex work and sex trafficked and all types of stuff. And turns out
I saw a clip from that. It was really good.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just you never know. Women need to be safe. They need to be protected, and this is just another tool that you can use. Like, and use it. Don't be afraid. You're not digging too deep. And shit, go there and get a background check, because motherfuckers are crazy.
You know what the problem is?
What?
You hoes only know these men by their Instagram name, and that's the problem.
That is an issue. That is an issue. Yeah, you can't go in there and be like, Big Ray 222. I need to get his background check, man. We need more off that. Look, this is his Instagram page right here,
King Aiden 47. No, the government don't work like that. Do your due diligence.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go. Well, we're gonna go ahead and get into our break, and when we come back, we're gonna answer a couple of emails that, child, Jesus.
Well, all right.
We'll be right back after this.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, I don't even know if my mind is ready to tackle these damn emails.
Oh well, listen. Okay, so first of all, the OBGYN thing really is too far. It's So I will definitely read the second one.
Okay, that's fair. You ready?
Whenever you are.
All right. So we're back, and like I said, these emails, just prepare yourselves, people, because this is going to be some fuckery. So this first one, just the title by this one, I have a big crush on my female OBGYN.
Not little. Not ordinary kind of crush.
Yeah.
Big crush on the OBGYN. Yeah. Female. Okay.
Yeah. So this one goes, I consider myself a heterosexual woman. I'm very happily married to a man, and we have an awesome partnership. The only relationships I've ever been in have been with men. I've never been attracted to another female before. Acknowledge that another female was beautiful and cool, sure, but never had any sexual feelings toward a woman. Yet I cannot stop thinking about feeling attracted to my female OBGYN. It's serious like a switch flip during the past year when I was under her care while I was pregnant. She's gorgeous. She's funny. We have similar interests and hobbies. She's got killer legs, and she's an excellent physician. If I didn't feel this inexplicable sexual attraction to her, I think I just really wanted her to be my friend. I have sex dreams about her. I think about her daily. I had an appointment with her a couple of weeks ago, and I was damn near giddy to be in the same room with her. Clearly, I would never ever act on this or even say it out loud, but I had to vent somewhere. Do I find a new doctor? How do I get over this idiotic crush?
Now, at what point during the pap smear that you were like, I could get into this? I could really see us being together. Well, outside of the obvious hilarious part of the situation, I just feel like, yeah, it might be time for you to go to another doctor
Mhm.
because you can't explain the extra secretion that may be happening down there to someone that you're super attracted to.
Mm.
Um, and it also will get to a point where things will go wrong with your pussy production, and you need someone to speak to about that. And you don't want it to be the person that you also would want to scissor a little bit. That can't be the same person. So you're probably gonna have to just check your insurance, see who else is in your network. Um, you have a PPO, HMO, it don't matter. Listen, go to another doctor and then you can react on that. Because then it's not going to be awkward if she rejects you. Because imagine your visits after your fucking OBGYN was like, your pussy, no, no. Why would you even think that? And then you have to show up for your next pap smear, and it's just awkward, girl. Don't do it. I don't suggest it. And again, you're married to a man who you probably adore, who has no idea about this. He's just wondering why you have so many appointments. It's like, everything okay down there? You've been going to the doctor like every pay period. So
I've noticed you've gotten your yearly pap smear 4 times this month. What's happening?
right, but he's probably not getting no pussy. So he's really concerned. But yeah, no, not to just, just laugh it off, but it's like, yeah, my suggestion is just find another doctor and leave that alone because you're married.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I don't even know why that's a question. That should have been like, I'm going to find another doctor. That should have been how that ended. Then you can ask how you get over the crush by separating church and state, because this needs to go away. Um, the fact that you're still going and seeing this
Right.
lady, knowing that you are highly attracted to her, is an issue. Is
In
an issue.
itself, in itself, it is a issue. And again, those follow-up visits are going to be really strange, girl. Just I don't encourage. I don't even see how that environment could even be sexy. Just looking at uteruses on the walls, and it's just, I don't know. I
See
don't
what
know how that became sexy.
what I imagine is like while the pap smear's going in, and her legs are in the little stirrups, right?
Oh
So
God.
as the doctor's getting ready to do her thing, the woman just says, "You know what? We should do this outside of here sometimes, like outside of the office."
Good night. All right. Good night, everybody. Have a good one. Everybody have a good one. Enjoy yourselves. What is wrong with you?
A
Um,
lot.
something is wrong with you. But also, I was like, okay, so for women, you know exactly what I'm talking about when you're getting your pap smear and they have to put the little lube on to slide inside. And that's when she'll go, oh, I don't need that because she's already there.
Oh
Already
man.
there. Thanks
That
for
is.
writing in.
Thank you. I don't even know. You know what? Fuck it. If you ever follow up, send it. I almost didn't want one on this, but you know what? Give us one. If you when if you switch doctors, hopefully this doesn't happen again. Like with her luck, like she'll pop up at a new doctor and it'll be somebody she's even more attracted to. Like it just keep having to just go around.
I don't know. Don't do that no more. Just stop. Go to a new doctor. Go to a new doctor.
All right, but this next letter, this is all you, because
Oh
I
yes.
I just
Yes. So, it says my boyfriend won't stop texting the man he cheated on me with! Exclamation point. That's emphatic. Like she is sick of it. All right. So it says, yes, you read right. Just to confirm, we read what we needed. Okay. My boyfriend cheated on me with a man a year ago, and I recently went through his phone and found out that they are still communicating. Okay. While their communication had been strictly normal topics like sports and work, to add some perspective, my boyfriend, who claims, okay, to be a straight man, admitted he and a friend from college got drunk and had sex 6 months into our relationship. When I confronted him about still being in contact with this man, he mentioned how they were friends for years and doesn't feel their friendship should end because of drunken mistake. Am I wrong for thinking all communication between the two should cease? Please help. Should he? Okay. Shasha, girl, sweet bitch. Listen, Linda. Listen. Anytime that you have to compete with another man that your man has been fucking on some striking viper shit, you're asking, are you wrong for thinking all communication between the two should cease? Okay, so first of all, I'm gonna be dumb for a second and just say that sports be gay anyway. Anyway.
Okay, it's an interesting take. Okay.
Right. No, because they smack each other on the ass. They're really affectionate to each other. And it's like when they jump on the pile, you know, maybe they have a something down and all the guys jump on them. What is that seventh man doing jumping on the pile? Other than so anyway, I feel like anytime that, and I'm just gonna take away the fact that it's a man, right? Anytime that you are in a situation or relationship with someone and they are cultivating other relationships outside of you with people from their past, it's like, what is it about them that you can't let go? This has nothing to do with sports and work. What is it about this person that you can't let go of? Because if it wasn't a relationship that they cared about, then they wouldn't be interested in contacting them multiple times. And then she said he claims, and claims had an E in it too, but it's cool because you know people make mistakes. Claims to be a straight man, admitted he and a friend from college got drunk and had sex 6 months into our relationship. So I'm assuming she's relatively young because they said 6 months into the relationship and they were in college at the time. Mm-hmm. Girl, there's so much dick out there that doesn't want to be sucked on by another man. It's so much out there. And if you just open your windows and horizons, you would see that there is just fields of dick everywhere with men who aren't interested in other men. And I feel like you are cheating yourself by entertaining the situation because one, he's being so upfront with you that he's telling you. And if that and I'm not trying to say that I'm, you know, against bisexual men. This has nothing to do with that because when you get into kind of like an emotional contract with the person, like in a relationship, you are under the impression that you are attracted to what I am. That's what I'm under the impression of. So if you're doing anything other than that, then I'm going to have a problem. And just the fact that, again, you know that he cheated on you and you know that he got drunk and had sex and all this stuff. And it's like, what else does he need to do? What does he need to do?
I have been drunk countless times in my life, right? Hundreds of times.
I believe it.
And not once in those hundreds of times so I say, you know what? That dick looks appealing.
Just probably never even came up in the whole.
Not even, like, no.
So again, it's like even asking the question, do you think you're wrong? Like you're wrong for still entertaining the situation. And whatever your feelings are, I mean, this is your boyfriend, but girl, there are tons of men out there. Stop this. This is ridiculous.
And my thing is, so even with saying that the text communication is sports and work, I wouldn't trust that. Like if you're talking, you like, yeah, did you see the way he threw that ball the other day? Like that's cold.
You know what
that's cold.
cold.
Yeah, it's cold.
It's cold. The receiver.
Mm-hmm.
Look, most of the positions, they're called positions. Their ass be tooted up. They twerk a little bit before the play. You know what I'm saying? I watch the football. I know what be happening. They wear knickerbockers, like all type of stuff be happening.
Mm-hmm.
Rubbing on sweaty men, and they may really be into that. And as far as like work, you ain't talking about work. You talking about overtime. It's funny how there's overtime at work and in sports. So that way she thinks that he's talking about either or when really he's talking about bussy. Anyway, anyway. Ma'am, there's just a ton of men out there that aren't attracted to men, and I just strongly suggest
Oh
you don't
man.
have to listen to us, but I just strongly suggest that, and I don't want to make fun of you because you took the time to write because you were genuinely concerned, but
Mm-hmm.
we're telling you, it's plenty of just
Yeah,
straight dick out there.
that would just give it to you with no questions asked. Like they won't even
Men
ask
are
you
really
questions.
easy.
Like
Men
yeah.
are easy, so it wouldn't be a problem.
And then and now, as we said before, you can go get you a nice background check before, and then you can just do your thing.
Boom. Now you done helped yourself out. Now you're not dating a predator or someone that was like mad abusive. Even though I'm not gonna say this because I feel like I don't want to get
Go
your
ahead.
show shut
Now
down.
you have to say it now. You have to
I
say it.
can't. It's too bad,
No, you gotta say it. Like people are gonna wonder. You gotta say we don't hold.
guys. I am very sorry in advance. But what I was gonna say was I would definitely take a punch than a man taking dick. I would definitely. I'm just sorry, guys. Sorry to the women that are struggling in that department. But I'm just saying that that's really difficult and it's really crazy that you're kind of just aware of all these things, but not willing to do hot shit about it. So I don't know.
This is for all jokes aside. I know this is very funny just reading it, but there's a person here, so I'm gonna try to stop laughing and cracking jokes. But
Please, okay? I'm trying my best.
all, all jokes aside here is that in he is really not taking the pain that you went through to try to get through this to work through your relationship into consideration at all. If he's still contacting someone he cheated on you with, we can take the gender out completely out of the equation.
That's what I was saying. Hmm.
So like for him to still be doing that and carrying on like, oh, we're good now, we got that out of our system, we're good, you should be okay with it, is really fucked up.
I don't believe that in any situation
Yeah.
because I honestly feel like if you're over that person and you're past that time, why is it difficult for you to lose communication? Because if you're saying, oh, it's not a big deal, then why are you doing it? Why are you tending to that relationship if it means nothing to you, if it doesn't have an importance? So you're basically saying that, yeah, this person that I did cheat on you with, they still carry a significant amount of importance in my life. So much so that I will put it before your feelings.
Wow. Yeah.
Crazy,
Yeah, that's crazy.
crazy. So, ma'am, you heard what we had to say, and I don't suggest running into any abusive men, but also there's just men out there that are just willing to just give you all the heterosexual dick that you can take. You know what I'm saying? It's out there.
Okay, so set the scene, right? This is what we're gonna do. I just because I
Here
gotta
we
ask you.
go. Okay,
So
what now?
when I set scenes, it's about to be something crazy. All right. So
Okay.
I'm not even gonna say your boyfriend, because what I'm gonna say, let's say you were in a situation in the past, you come home
Mm-hmm.
and your boyfriend is getting his back blown out by a dude. What's your reaction?
um I Okay, first of all, do I have a weapon?
We're gonna say for your safety, no. You just
I
come home from
think
work.
I think I would be so much in shock that I honestly may have a snapped moment because it literally is just your reality completely flipped upside down. Also, his legs in his, by his ear. It's too much. It's too much for one person to deal with. And I don't know what might happen. I might just, I don't know, everybody got to go. That's all I'm gonna say. Because I can't live with the embarrassment. Not because you were having sex with a man, but that you were getting your back blown out. Like you had an arch. Like you have hairy ass and an arch. And probably the visual of it, like all of us would be gone. I'm sending us to glory. There will be no witnesses or survivors. Coming home, Jesus.
Oh man,
All of us.
CSI is gonna have a fun time trying to figure out what happened there.
All of us are going. Come on. All the fun people in hell anyway.
Oh man, listen, I can't. Can we just get some calm letters for next week, please? Like I can't.
Why
My
do
heart.
you even ask me these questions?
Weird stuff comes to my head. I figure, you know what? I might as well ask you.
Shovable Honda. Okay.
And just as a peek behind the curtain, when I was putting this topic list together and I got these two emails, I immediately texted Tanya and was like, "Yeah, record your reaction when you read this week's list because
I wish I could. I was busy, but when I did open it and read it, I literally was just like, okay. No, it's fine. I can totally talk about this. This is great. I got it. I got it. This is nuts. This is nuts. But people go through things, and I'm grateful that people are open enough to share these things. Let us make fun of them a little bit and give some advice.
Yeah.
You have to make light of the situation. Sometimes you really do need to hear things out loud in order to know how crazy it is. And like I do that to people all the time. I say what they're saying, but like in SpongeBob font. And I'd be like, oh, yeah. And I'd be like, that's how ridiculous it sounds. Like, oh, I can't find a shirt. And you make it sound so ridiculous. People understand how trivial it is. But in this case, these letters, keep them coming because I enjoy it. I don't mind laughing at you guys at all. I also have advice, but I don't mind laughing.
There you go. Yeah, we balance it. We are going to. I'm not even going to tell that lie and say that we're not going to laugh. We are going to. Hopefully, we laugh with you. But if not, I'm fine laughing at you as well. But we do still give you advice, so you still get to walk home with something. So there you go.
Right, and not just be crazy.
But yeah, Shakaya is that how you pronounce it? Shakia?
Shaka Khan.
I don't know. But you are a strong black woman for putting your name on this
letter. How
letter.
do you know she's not a white woman?
Come on now.
Shakaya Whittlesworth. Hello. Their names.
I'm not gonna argue. I'm not. You know what? You got it. You got it. Whatever. The fact that you put your name on this, you are strong because
it's probably
Lord.
Made up. It's probably made up a name just to keep her, anonymity. I hope so.
Let's
I hope your coworkers don't listen to this and know it's you because you told him he did. Then it's gonna be full circle.
Yeah. Well, that's it for this week. We had more emails, but I honestly couldn't. My heart couldn't take putting anything else on this list. That one, so it is what it is.
We had enough.
You got any parting words, advice, anything before we go?
Ladies, lift and separate your titties. Don't smush and suffocate. Lift, separate. Don't smush and suffocate. We don't need that. We need lifted, perky, separated titties. Also, it helps with under titty sweat. So, there you go.
Well, okay.
Don't pausing like I'm the problem.
I didn't say that.
I'm not the problem. I'm out here giving sound advice.
You are. I'm sure that somebody somewhere needed to hear that. So I appreciate you for that.
Also, a couple guys have breasts. Shout out to y'all. It's Breast Cancer Awareness Month. You make sure you get your mammograms also. Because some of you guys are definitely pulling in like somewhere around a 42C. So check them out also.
I think it's time for you to go to sleep. I think it's time for you to really take a nap. We're done. Tell them where they can follow you. It's done. We're over.
Find me on the Twitter machine at I am Queen T. I am QWENTEE. Same thing on Instagram. Don't be creepy. Also, you can also catch me on Urban Sweet Talk podcast with my girl Lady M417. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys.
And you can follow me at CEO Hayes. That's CEOHAIZE. You can follow us collectively at Love Lust BAS Pod. And we will see you guys next week. I guess that's it. I have no sound advice like what Tanya just gave. So we're out. Peace.
Hold on. There's advice for guys.
I ain't got it, man. I ain't got it.
Yes, you do. It's fine.
I don't know, man. After I don't even want to give anybody any advice after this week. Like, listen to what we talked about on this podcast. I feel like there's a lot of stuff in here. Get your life together, man. Get your life together. Peace. Bam.
I was talking about the advice, when y'all balls stick to your inner thigh and y'all do that kick shuffle thing, the squat kick shuffle.
Really?
Or you the hand in the pocket thing?
I don't do that. I don't know what you're talking about.
Sure, it's fine.
Oh man, that was a fun episode.
It was. I don't know what the hell's wrong with these people, but I enjoy it, so it's fine with me.